Today, we are diving into one of history's most audacious, most unbelievable, and, well, one of the most successful publicity stunts I think has ever been pulled off. It's a story about ice, incredible ambition, and a journey that went against all the odds.
Just think about that for a second. We're so used to viral marketing, clever digital campaigns that flash across our screens. But what about a stunt that was so physical, so outrageously ambitious, it just sounds like it has to be made up? That's right, 3 tons. We're talking over 3,000 kilograms of solid frozen water, carved right out of an ancient glacier. But believe it or not, where they got it from is only half the story. The truly mind-boggling part was where they decided to take it. From the freezing Arctic Circle, all the way across Europe, and then straight through the blistering heat of the Sahara Desert to the equator. And they did it all without any refrigeration. Zero.
Okay, so let's get into it. How on earth did this incredible quest even begin? Well, it all started with a challenge that, frankly, was never meant to be taken seriously.
So back in 1958, the super popular Radio Luxembourg threw this challenge out there, probably just as a publicity gimmick, right? But that prize money was astronomical. It would be worth millions today. They were absolutely sure nobody would be foolish enough to even try.
Oh, but they were wrong. A Norwegian insulation company called Glassvat heard the challenge, and, well, they actually did the math. They were so confident in their glass wool insulation, they figured they could actually win this thing. When Radio Luxembourg realized these guys were serious, they panicked and quickly pulled the prize offer. But it was too late. The idea had already caught fire with the public, and Glassvat knew they were sitting on a publicity goldmine, prize money or not. So, the big question is, how in the world do you prepare a giant block of ice for a trip across a continent and through a desert? Well, the process was this amazing mix of incredible engineering and just sheer brute force. First off, the team headed to the massive Svartisen Glacier. Using chainsaws, they cut out 15 blocks, each weighing 200 kilograms. See, getting one single 3-ton block was just impossible. So they airlifted these smaller chunks by helicopter to a nearby town. There, they carefully melted and fused them back together into one colossal block. Our champion weighing in at 3,050 kilograms. Now, to protect it, they built this custom fortress. Just picture a thermos flask the size of a small car. The ice block was placed inside and then separated from this huge iron outer shell by an inner wall of wood and a thick 20-centimeter layer of Glassvat's special glass wool. This was, for the 1950s, some seriously high-tech armor against the heat. With the ice ready to go, the journey began. And it didn't start quietly. No, this was a full-blown European tour, kicking off on February 22, 1959. The truck carrying the ice, which was provided by Scania Vabis, basically became a rolling celebrity. Remember, this was before the internet. Marketing meant a physical spectacle, something you could see with your own eyes, moving from city to city, drawing huge crowds. I mean, it even got a police escort through Paris. This wasn't just a delivery, it was a massive media event, a moving advertisement for Scandinavian ingenuity. And this is just a fantastic part of the story. The whole expedition had a higher purpose. Tucked right in there, alongside the ice, were 300 kilograms of essential medicines. They were headed for the famous humanitarian Dr. Albert Schweitzer in his hospital, which was near their final destination. It added this really noble humanitarian layer to what was, at its heart, a PR stunt. So when the truck finally reached the port in Algiers, it was time for the first big check-in. After thousands of kilometers through a Europe that was having an unseasonably warm spell, how was the ice doing? The result was astounding. The total amount of meltwater they collected was a tiny 4 liters. That's it. The insulation wasn't just working, it was working better than anyone could have possibly imagined. But that parade through Europe, that was the easy part. The real test, the very heart of the challenge, was about to begin, crossing the Sahara Desert. Suddenly, the crew was facing all kinds of dangers. Daytime temperatures shot up to 50 degrees Celsius. That's 122 Fahrenheit. Roads, they just vanished, replaced by endless sand. The massive 16-ton truck was constantly getting bogged down, forcing the exhausted crew to spend hours digging it out. And if all that wasn't enough, they were driving right through an active war zone, the Algerian War of Independence. The danger was so real that for parts of the journey, they were escorted by the French Foreign Legion, and they gave them that chilling command you see right there. The Legionnaires explained that the 300 kilograms of medicine made them a prime target for guerrilla fighters, so stopping, for any reason, was just not an option.
And yet, even here, in what has to be the most hostile environment imaginable for a block of ice, our ice champion held its own. In that crushing desert heat, under a sun that never let up, it was only losing about 15 liters of meltwater a day. It was an absolutely incredible feat, a real testament to the engineering that was protecting its frozen heart.
After 14 agonizing days in the desert and 27 days total on the road, the battered convoy and its exhausted crew finally arrived. They had made it to their destination, Libreville, Gabon, right on the equator.
Okay, so let's just rewind for a second. Let's remember the starting line. When it left that glacier way back in Norway, the block of ice weighed a hefty 3,050 kilograms.
And here it is, the moment of truth. After traveling thousands of kilometers through cities and across the world's hottest desert, the ice was unloaded and weighed one last time. The final weight came in at 2,714 kilograms. To put that in perspective for you, they had lost only 336 kilograms. A staggering 89% of the original ice block had survived a 27-day, 8,500-kilometer journey with absolutely no refrigeration at all. It was just an unbelievable triumph. So, what was the real takeaway from this incredible achievement? I mean, the journey was over, the ice had arrived, but the real victory was actually just beginning. So, while that prize money from Radio Luxembourg was a distant memory, Glasvin ended up earning something way more valuable. The expedition was a global news story. It proved, in the most dramatic and unforgettable way possible, that their insulation worked. You simply couldn't buy better advertising than that. The ice was cut up and given to the people of Libreville, many of whom had never even seen ice before. The expedition became the stuff of legend. And it leaves us with a really fascinating question today, right? In our world of fleeting digital moments, what would it take to capture the world's imagination the way a simple block of ice did all the way back in 1959?